You know, what I understand about human nature in a collective setting is that nothing exists in a vacuum. There's always a precedent, and there's always a set of events and a set of circumstances set forth first before you can have something become commonplace or to be the norm. Like, for instance, when you look at Chicago, all these kids killing each other in record numbers. All these children killing each other in record numbers. That didn't just happen one day because they collectively decided they were just going to start killing each other. That's not how it works. I know that's how some people would like to make it seem, because it fits within their ideology of how they feel about black on black crime or the overall dysfunction of black youth, especially. Even though black youth are making some really great strides these days, maybe because of Facebook and the fact that there's people like me telling them on Facebook and in real life, on the streets, that the underlying reasons why they are like this. Now, the underlying reasons for a high rate of poverty or a very high rate of crime and violence in a certain area hardly ever rests in that area. You hardly ever find an area anywhere in the world where everything is just utter violence and dismay and chaos and distress and mental illness without finding out that there's some other area keeping it that way for their own interests. That's the truth. Now, you can pussyfoot around that. You can try to say that's not true. But any research, I'm in the fridge, any research into these things, any real research into past events, you go back in time, you go back, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, as you go back in time, you start to find the underlying reasons for present day problems. Now, if you refuse to go back to when a problem first manifests itself, you will blame the victims. You will always find that people who do not want to discuss the underlying causes, the precursors to a certain way of life for a group of people, they will blame the victim. They will put it on the people who are failing within the set of circumstances that were set up for them to fail in. And most times when you are put into a set of circumstances to fail as a group, what happens is those who overcome that set of circumstances without the awareness and the knowledge that those set of circumstances were put in place to cause a failure amongst a majority of the people, because there's no way you can make everybody fail at anything. There is no way you can make anybody fail at anything. Let's take, for instance, American Ninja Warrior. American Ninja Warrior is a show where people have to overcome a set of obstacles to make it to another point in the tournament. But what happens is most people don't do it. These people trained, they did everything they needed to do to try to overcome this course's obstacles. And in most cases, they simply can't do it. Some do. When a very few amount of people do, nobody looks at the people who made it and says, wow, if you made it, everybody should make it. No one says that unless you're dealing with black people. Now, when it comes to black people, if only the smallest percentage of black people make it through a maze of the school to prison pipeline and all of these different doctors who are willing to fuck your life up, all the different penalties you face just for being black. When you do make it, or when you have a system that works, that gets you through these obstacles, that is not a reason for you to then turn around and blame the people who did not make it for their own failure. Everybody fails. Racism is set up to make sure that a higher percentage of people do not come back from their own internal problems. Now I know that's hard for a lot of you to digest, but it's just plain truth. White oppression is designed to keep you oppressed. And by keeping us oppressed, it keeps us in a state of mind. But anyway, this is a long ramble. It's already 6 minutes. A lot of people already turned this video off. This is your boy Cosmic. I'm going to holler at you.